Hey there, it's Ryan. I hope you're having a great day. I am so excited to be bringing you the Perfect Lead Secrets training today. This is something that I've been working on and learning over the last 19 years as someone who's been in real estate alongside of you. So the problem is a lot of real estate agents are thrown into the deep end of the industry and not necessarily told how to swim. So we're going to go and try to course correct that a little bit by helping you really dive deep into who you want to be working with, which I promise you is going to help unleash your income. You're going to be able to solve problems at a deeper level, and you're going to be able to attract the clients that you actually want versus bringing in the clients that you can only get your hands on. So that being said, let's go ahead and just dive right in. So the goal for today is we're going to be focusing on how to, 1, attract better clients, 2, convert them easier, and 3, get you paid more and start enjoying being a real estate agent again. So by the end of the training, you're going to be able to understand how to create perfect leads for yourself. Now, I need you to make me a promise that the things that I'm going to teach you today, you're only going to use them for good and you're not going to use them for evil. You got to make me that promise before we go any further. You good? All right, let's keep trucking. So before we go any further, I'm going to start off with 5 pop quiz questions to see how much you understand about what we're going to be talking about today. So question number 1, targeting everyone is the best way to generate leads. And the answer is false. All right, so the next question is understanding your client's needs, your ideal client's needs more specifically, can help you generate higher quality leads for yourself. The answer is true. Now, it's kind of an easy one. Next one is spending more money on ads will resolve all of your lead generation problems, even without knowing who your ideal client is. And that is false. And the next one, agents who know their ideal client more are going to close deals faster. The answer is true. And the last one is not having an ideal client means you're competing with everyone for the same leads. Now this one is true. So before we go any further, I've got to let you know a couple things up front. So by the end of this training, you're not going to have everything figured out. Okay, so I need to be very clear about that. This is just step 1. So first, you're going to have more clarity and more focus on what you need to be doing next. Then you're going to get your first leads using this strategy. And lastly, you're going to have clients lining up to do business with you. So we're going to be spending some time together today. So what I want to know first is, why are you here? What is it in your business that is not working that you feel that you need to find the perfect client? And I got to tell you that this is a question that I ask a lot of real estate agents that I talk to, that I coach, that all these things. And the one thing that I keep hearing is, I'm lost. I don't know exactly what to do next. And there's a good reason for that. And we're going to cover that here in a second. So I could tell you that you're not the first one to ask this question. And there have been people who have come before you who have figured this out. Now you're going to hear these stories as we go. So Kathy is a local legend here in town. And that's actually, she's my professional crush when it comes to talking about how to work with an ideal client and attracting lots of leads from those people. So she is a local legend here, and you're going to hear her story here in a little bit. Another one is Lauren and Jen. So Lauren and Jen have really hyper fixated on one specific group of clients. And to date, they have closed over 50 deals as a tandem. And then Daniel's just at the beginning of the process of figuring out who his ideal client is. However, he now has a lot more clarity of who he's going after. So his videos that he's doing, his branding, his messaging, his logos, his fonts, the things that he's offering has gotten so much more clear now that he understands that he needs to figure out who his ideal client for. So if you're still here with me, I wanted to let you know that this is for you if you are a new agent, if you are an agent on a team, if you are a team lead, if you're a solo agent, if you are a part-time agent. So this is for you if you fit any of these categories. And the agents this is not for are the agents who think that they already have it all figured out. The agents who they feel like they've already learned all they can learn and there's nothing else for them. So if that's you, if you feel like you already have everything figured out, then you might as well just log off this training right now. However, if you feel like you still need to grow, you still need to learn, you still need to do more, stick around. I promise you this is going to be worth your time. So my goal for the training is to show you that the only way to get better in more leads is having one ideal client. And the only way to get leads from your ideal client is going to be the ideal client tool, which I'm going to share with you at the end. So who am I to teach you this stuff? So once again, I am a loan officer. I've been doing this for 19 years as of this year. And that being said, I love to teach. I love to coach. And actually, I put on events where I'm at in Columbus, Ohio. So some of the events that I've done here recently, and you can see actually Kathy was on this event with me with a great group of other agents who already are doing what I'm going to be teaching you today. Other panels with real estate agents, builder reps, public speakers, best-selling authors. I mean, the events that I've done have helped the agents here locally, and I feel like it's time for me to spread my wings and help people that are outside of Columbus, Ohio. So who I am. So once again, my name is Ryan, and if you didn't pick up already, I'm a loan officer. I've been doing this for 19 years. I have over 3,500 closings, and I love marketing. So when I'm not being a husband, when I'm not being a loan officer, when I'm not being a dad, I am digesting marketing books, buying courses, reading the latest and greatest. So that way I can take this stuff on, experiment with it, chew it up, and regurgitate it for you guys to something that is relevant to you. So when I first got started in the industry, it was 2005. And unfortunately, like a lot of us in the industry, we are not told how to go get business. So we are told how to get our license, how to stay out of jail, maybe write a contract, but that's really about it. So when I first started, I was given a list of the top 200 agents here in Columbus, and I was told just to go call them for coffee and lunch. Now, I've been doing this for long enough, and you've gotten these phone calls that these phone calls do not help you in any way. It's not a good offer. It's not solving your problems in any way. And it ends up being the loan officer ends up talking about themselves or the loan products, and it's not really helping the real estate agent in any meaningful way. So I've also paid for leads. I've ran Facebook ads. I've cold called, postcards. I've done a lot of the things that you are told that you need to do every single day. And in the end, just none of it really worked. And the problem is I got married the same year that I entered real estate in 2005. So at that point, I was in need of trying to be able to provide for my family and make good on the promises that I gave to my wife and her father that I would take care of her. Well, over time, I just felt like I started drowning in the industry because no one had really showed me what I need to do to market myself, to be a better salesperson. So basically, I was thrown into the deep end of the pool, and everyone around me was just waiting to see if I would sink or swim. So yeah, I was able to close over 3,500 loans, but my brick wall was, how do I make myself different than the other loan officers I'm competing with? And at that time, there was 130,000 loan officers across the country. So that's your banks, that's your Rocket Mortgage, that's brokers like me. So that was a lot of different loan officers that I was competing with, and I had no meaningful way to be able to differentiate myself from them so I can stand out for the people that I wanted to do business with. And I was tired. I can't tell you how much I was tired of being the coffee and lunch loan officer and getting doors closed in my face and being told no and not getting opportunities and being closed out. So a couple years ago, at a low point emotionally, I got an invitation to an event called Forward, and it's in Vegas, and this is like the 4th or 5th year that they've done it. And so I got to go to year 2, the very second year that they did it. And I've never been to an event before. I'd never invested in this kind of travel. So I was really nervous, really excited to travel by myself, which I had never done that before either. Well, seeing what Neil Dangra was doing with Forward gave me the idea, and he's a loan officer too. So it gave me the idea that maybe I should start working to try to promote myself the same way that he does, because it seems like he's doing something that's getting a lot of traction. So before the event, I bought my ticket. I started putting together a micro event of my own. So at that point, I had been doing video for a couple of years, and obviously you can tell here that I have a little bit of a knack for it. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to take my knowledge of video and apply that and try to help real estate agents. So I created an event. It was the very first agent launch event. So what you're watching right now is an agent launch training, but agent launch started with that very first event where I rented a room at an insurance company, I think it was like 75 agents in the room. So I was really, really excited to have this thing go off. Well, as the event was approaching, like a lot of these events, I started thinking, okay, so what do I do now that the event is coming up? Do I just have the event and just let it die? What do I do with my follow-ups? How do I stay in touch with these agents? Well, right around the same time, Neil actually did a social media post talking about a book called $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. So I really trusted Neil and his advice and his insight. So I immediately went and got the book, started reading it. And this was still before my first event went off. So I started reading it, and he started talking about core offers. And he started talking about ideal clients and all this stuff. So that really, really intrigued me. So fast forward a little bit, I've been doing events now for a couple of years with Agent Launch. My largest event was the one that you see here in the picture. It was like 175 agents, and that was great. I was really excited about that. So I started thinking, okay, so how can I turn this into something a little bit bigger? Because at this point I wasn't charging for anything. So I was still doing everything for free. So how can I increase my reach with agents that are not necessarily in my market and maybe make a little bit of money on the stuff that I'm doing? So I started looking for coaches, and once again, the good Lord gave me Sunny. So Sunny, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name because I'm going to butcher it. And Sunny, if you're watching, I do apologize. But Sunny is a coach, and she teaches other people who have a skill set like sewers, plumbers, those kind of things, to sell coaching courses online. So I paid her a lot of money, and I'm going to show you how much I paid her in a little bit. But I paid her a lot of money. And one of the things that really came out of the program was the idea that before you can really do anything else, you need to understand who you're talking to and who you're trying to solve. So she calls it your ideal client profile. So I piggybacked off that. And in Agent Launch, we call it your ideal client. So part of my homework when I bought into her program was I needed to interview 50 agents. So get on a Zoom call, invite them, ask a very specific list of questions. And this took forever. So I accomplished it. I got my 50 interviews in, and I learned so much more than what I knew before, what I thought I knew before about what you guys needed, about what you guys struggle with, about what keeps you up at night, what's working, what's not working. I learned so much. So at the end of practicing with Agent Launch, hearing Neil speak, working with the books of Alex Hormozi, and being in Sunny's coaching program, I ended up with a better, faster way to market myself for less money. The ability to make better offers, thank you, Alex, and the practice of building a habit of thinking about you before me. So I don't mean this in a weird way, but I think about you guys a lot. Like, what are you guys struggling with in the market changes that we've had? How are you adapting? What do you need help with? What are you good at, not good at? And where can I plug in to help you guys? So after 18 years, I really discovered the hard way of what wouldn't work. And then with a couple small tweaks that I'm going to share with you today, I learned how I can better serve you. So one of the things that I love to do, like I said, is I like to digest marketing material. This is my favorite thing to do when I have a choice of what I'm doing with my time. So books, podcasts, YouTube videos. I mean, you can see here on the screen, these are some of the people, my role models, my heroes. I haven't met any besides Neil and Jeff. You're going to hear from Jeff in a little bit. I haven't met these people in person, but they've made a huge impact in my life. So once again, I know that you're a real estate agent. You may not enjoy being able to market yourself or marketing in general, but what I'm going to do, and my promise to you, is I'm going to take some of the things that I learned from the people on screen, and I'm going to mama bird this thing. So I'm going to chew it up, the stuff that I've learned, and then regurgitate it for you in just the way that you need to make this make sense for you and help you move forward in your business. So if you've been struggling, this is probably why. Because no one has told you how to take care of yourself. So just like me, I was thrown into the deep end of the pool. You were too. So you got your license, you were wooed into the industry and then pushed into the deep end. And then your broker, your team lead, the industry, your family, your friends are standing around the edge of the pool seeing if you're going to sink or swim. And that sucks. And I'm sorry. And inside of Agent Launch, we're working to try to course correct that to help make it easier for you to be able to swim on your own and eventually get out of the pool. So if you've been doing this the hard way, you've probably been doing cold calls, social media, postcards, door knocking, search engine optimization, which once again, that is a moving target week to week, in-person events, Zillow, Realtor.com, Facebook ads. You've tried it all. Like me, you've probably tried it all and you've probably failed a lot, and that sucks. So today, I'm going to synthesize a lot of this information into 3 secrets. So the secrets are, we're going to fire most of your clients that you have right now. Secret number 2 is we're going to narrow down the field of who you need to be looking for. And then secret number 3, I'm going to show you how to make them fall in love with you. Cool? All right, so if you're still with me, let's go. All right, so secret number 1, how to streamline your lead generation with one simple shift. So the current problem is most of your marketing efforts, most of your focus is like you watering concrete. You've all driven down the street during the summer and you've seen sprinkler systems watering the grass just as much as there's watering concrete. Now, you and I know logically that the water needs to be hitting on the grass, but all that water that's spilling out onto the street, that's just wasted effort. That is just wasted time, wasted money, wasted resources, but you're doing the same thing with your marketing. You're spraying and praying, hoping that you find something that sticks. But in the meantime, you're wasting time, money, and you're losing commission and probably sleep overnight trying to figure out what works. So the problem is if you're not making enough money or getting the clients that you want, you are wasting your time or they're wasting your time. You spent so much time building a business of your dreams and then you work tirelessly to try to find clients that fit into that mold. We should actually be doing the opposite. So why this is important? Because right now, specifically in our country, in our economy, agents and consumers are just being buried under sorrow, under financial burdens, under stress, under medical issues. They're being buried. And a lot of us are feeling like there's not a lot of hope. However, that's where you come in. So God gave you a specific set of skills, tools, and abilities to be able to help these people and serve them at a high level. And we're talking about a specific, like very narrow, specific group of people that you are qualified to help. But one of the things that I get asked when I have these conversations with agents a lot is, okay, so if I am narrowing down who I'm working with, aren't I going to be losing sales? And the answer is actually no. The reason that this is no is because there are plenty of people out there that need your help. And they are all very similar in nature. So the single moms out there, the people getting divorced, people who got a job change, who are under financial distress. So whatever it is, whoever you're going to be working with or seeking out, there are plenty of people out there. So here in Columbus, I want to give you an example. There are about 30,000 transactions that happen year in and year out. Now, most agents only need about 10 deals to be really happy. So that being said, do you think that out of 30,000, using Columbus as an example, you could find 10 people that are similar that you can help? It's the same principle as you going into the grocery store and your favorite client, your ideal client is wearing a red shirt and everyone else is wearing gray. You're going to be able to pick them out really, really quickly. Now, there's a lot of people out there wearing red shirts, so you're going to be able to find these folks and serve them at a deep level. And one of the things that in Agent Launch that we hold very dear as a philosophy is the agents that are involved in Agent Launch are hope dealers. So we're not here to serve ourselves. We're here to help other people get out of the situations that they are in and give them hope for the future. So inside of Agent Launch, the agents that are in the group, they are called hope dealers. And I hope that you are able to take on that mantra as well, so you can go out and serve and take care of people, because there's a lot of people who really need you and you are uniquely qualified to help them. There's someone on their knees right now who is begging and praying for the solution only you can bring. So that's what we do and why we do it, but that doesn't necessarily help you. So why is this important to you? Having one client, your ideal client, important for you. All right, so what you see here on screen is 2 different piles of coins. Both of them equate to $1. So which one would you rather carry around in your pocket every single day? Would you rather carry around the pennies, 100 pennies, or 4 quarters? I know the answer, it's the 4 quarters, but why do most of us try to look for pennies? Now, to equate this to your clients, the clients that you are just randomly seeking, trying to go after everyone, they are worth less to you. However, if you can find 4 of your ideal client, they are worth more individually. So that means that you need less of them to do what you need to do. This principle is actually called the Pareto principle. So the Pareto principle is the 80-20 rule. So 20% of your clients are worth 80% of your income, And 80% of your clients are worth 20% of your income. This hurts. When I started discovering this really hurt when I figured this out. But you see it. You see that there's going to be some clients that are worth more to you. So kind of taking a step back. So let's show this in actual numbers. So I hope you know the difference between revenue and profit. But if not, revenue is the amount of money you bring in. It's the gross money that you bring in. And then profit is the money that is left over after all the expenses are paid, your time, and those kind of things. So out of 200 clients, only the top 50 are really going to be profitable. And you can see that it's not even close. So your top 50 are going to be worth most of your revenue, and then it really bleeds off after this. And once again, revenue is the money coming in before any expenses are paid. Now, what I'm going to show you next is really eye-opening and why this is important. So when it comes to profit, how much money is left over after your time, your expenses, gas, showings, those kind of things, after all that's accounted for, only the top 50, the top 25% are paying you money. And everyone else is break even at best. Worst case scenario, it's losing you money. So yeah, you might have a paycheck hit your bank. However, your bottom 25% of clients are actually losing you almost 40% of your revenue. I saw this and I immediately got to work starting measuring some stuff in my business, and this actually rang true. So true. And this is painful to see, but no one's really talking about it. So once again, your top 25% of clients, your 20% of clients, according to the Pareto principle, are going to be the things that are going to help separate you from your competition and have you working less and getting paid more. So that being said, going back to what I've learned with Alex, I needed to have a better offer so I can serve these people. And what I learned from Sunny is I need to be hyper-focused on who I'm serving. And I spent hours and hours and hours and hours interviewing agents to find out what they really needed. And when it came down to it, I was able to create what we call my ideal client profile. And I gave that to ChatGPT, and I'm going to show you how to do that a little bit. So once I had that data, I was able to synthesize that data from these interviews and really tell me exactly what people needed. And now I'm working tirelessly to go do that. So I got to tell you that when I first started this process, there was a moment when I was driving to work one morning. It was a summer morning, and I had the stereo off because I just was really annoyed with what I was hearing. And it was almost like God had biffed me on the back of the head. But God gave me an idea that has really stuck with me since. So what happened, what Agent Launch was at that point, is it was very self-serving. It was very self-serving. I was working on trying to figure out the latest hack, the latest trick to get more agents, get time with more agents using the tools and things that I was offering. However, it's like Jesus Christ himself smacked me on the back of the head, biffed me on the back of the head, said, no, you're doing this wrong. You're doing this wrong because you are focusing solely on yourself. You are not actually truly serving the people that I'm putting in front of you. And it was like one of those moments in movies to where you see that weird effect to where it zooms in and zooms out really quick. The world gets quiet and all that stuff. So I would never forget that moment where I was given instruction that I needed to stop focusing on myself and focusing on the agents and their needs, and then God would take care of me instead. So as we're going through this process, I really want you to take and put yourself aside and start thinking about the people that you are here to serve and you are uniquely qualified to serve. So what this cost me is it cost me about $8,000 to learn what I learned from Sunny, hundreds of hours studying, hundreds. And I'm still learning, so that time is still racking up over time. But I can tell you that through this process, I have seen people like Kathy Cairo, who has focused solely on serving one type of client, be able to put the time and the effort into attracting and solving these people's problems. And what you're seeing on screen here, she has an event here in Columbus called Downsize Columbus. And I actually witnessed this firsthand. So she had the event, it's an in-person event. She had over 300 ticket sales. So she sold tickets to this event. She had sponsors who also paid her to be there, to have booths. And at the end of it, as she was wrapping up the event, that's when she started talking about real estate. She didn't talk about real estate really the whole time. She talked about how to solve people who need to downsize their house, she taught them how to do so. And at the very end, she started talking about real estate. Well, out of the 300 people that were there, she got 100 leads. 100 leads. And this is the best part. Out of those 100 leads, 20 people scheduled appointments right then to be able to go have Kathy and her team go do listing appointments. So within one event, she was able to get 100 leads and 20 appointments, come list me appointments. And she only did this by understanding who her ideal client is. So like for me, for example, my ideal client is Rob and Janet. They are first or second time home buyers, and they have a house right now, and they have kids, middle school. She is in education. He is in a C-suite somewhere or upper level management. They are super maxed out on time. They haven't had a date night in probably about 6 months without the kids. And they are really maxed out on stress and they have no time. So as a loan officer, as a real estate pro, I now know how I can better serve them and what I need to do and how I need to talk to them, because now I understand what they're struggling with. So if you're still with me, once again, who this is for, the ideal client, who this is for agents who are brand new, agents on teams, team leads, solo agents, and part-time agents. So you're probably thinking that I'll lose potential business by narrowing down my audience. And I can't tell you how far from true that is. What you're going to be doing is going back to the Pareto principle. You're just deleting and removing yourself from the 80% of clients who are taking money from you and you're losing money. So you're probably also thinking that I can work with anyone, so why would I limit myself? Yes, you can work with everyone, but if you try to attract everyone, you're going to get no one. So let's be specific. Let's narrow down. So you're probably thinking that my market is too diverse to really focus on one type of client. So I think, once again, that's just an excuse. So if you are in a small town or a large metro, you're going to be able to find enough clients enough of your ideal clients to be able to feed your family. Oh, and by the way, by doing so and doing so at a high level, you're going to be able to attract more of those people with less effort. It's kind of where the magic happens. So you're probably thinking, I don't know enough about my ideal client to narrow it down. Well, I tell you, if you stick around, I'm going to show you exactly how you do that. And then lastly, you're probably thinking that I can't afford to turn anyone away. Now, in this economy, in this market where things have been tough for everyone in real estate, you need to try to take every deal that you can. I'm not going to tell you that you need to tell people, if you can't pay your car payment or feed your kids, take the deal, but you need to be working on this when the world's quiet. Like I've been working on this presentation after my kids go to bed, up till like 2:00 in the morning for like 2 weeks straight. So you're going to have to put in some time, some overtime to get this stuff figured out. And the good thing is I'm going to be here to help you. So once again, secret number one is you now know why it's important to have one ideal client. And this is going to help streamline your lead generation strategy. All right, so that's secret number one. So secret number two is how to pick your perfect client in less than 10 minutes. I can promise you this doesn't take as much time. Now, a really big thing that I need you to understand, and a habit you need to break with yourself, is people are not leads. And I learned this from Kathy herself. So we did that event. She said this on stage, and it's stuck with me ever since. People are not leads. So yes, you're getting name, phone numbers, and emails. However, there is struggles, there's hopes, there's dreams, there's fears, there's lost sleep, there's families, there's futures on the other side of that name, phone number, and email. And you need to speak to those things and not the contact information, or speak to them as you are a robot. And where I really learned this was Jeffrey Shaw. So Jeffrey Shaw is a best-selling author, Amazon, been on Oprah, a whole bunch of things. So I was actually listening to a podcast from another one of my favorite authors, Mike Michalowicz, and Jeffrey was on his podcast as a guest. And that being said, Jeffrey started talking about the idea of an avatar. So once again, I'm a marketing nerd. I love this stuff. So I've heard the word avatar for a long time, and I'm sure you have too. But really what he did is he really clarified what that meant. So an avatar in marketing terms is just one person that you're trying to talk to. I've danced around that for a long time trying to figure it out, but I never really understood it until I listened to that podcast. And then I subsequently got his book, Lingo. So in Lingo, it really tells the story of how he struggled as a photographer to be able to get the sales he needed to provide for his family and grow his business. And much like me, he had the same struggles that I did trying to figure this stuff out. But once he did figure it out, magic started happening. His business started to bloom. Things got easier. People sought him out for opportunities. So what I want to ask you is, who is your ideal client? Now, you've heard me say this a couple of times, and I really haven't helped you out this so far. So we're going to help get this corrected. So what I want to show you first is, let's start broad and go narrow. So let's first start with, what is your market? So when you look at it at a broad scale, there's only 3 different types of businesses. There's health, wealth, and relationships. So real estate falls into the financial side, the wealth side. So narrowing down just a little bit further. So what is your industry? Okay, so that's kind of the outside of the target. And the inside of the target is your market. And the inside of that target, the dead center, is your niche or your ideal client. So let's give you an example of this. So real estate, you're in real estate. We're all in real estate. So I want to work with investors. And then I also want to work with fixers and flippers. Okay, so let's just pause here for a second. How many different types of fixers and flippers are there? Well, there's the institutionals. Like, there's a guy here in town named Tommy Hart. Dude is a monster when it comes to fixing and flipping and the whole using real estate as an investment thing. But he's been doing this for years. And the language that he speaks, the things that he thinks about, are very different than versus if my wife and I or your parents decided to buy an investment property and fix it up and flip it. So each Tommy and then your parents have very different needs. They are going to be worried about very different things. So just within the fixer and flipper bucket, there's sub niches that you can pick from. And then once you get really good at talking to those people, you're going to have them coming to you and eating out of your hand. So here's another example. So once again, we talked about Kathy. Kathy works with downsizers. So you have your real estate once again, you have your sellers, and then you have downsizers. How many different types of downsizers are there? Well, there's the people that are selling their house for the last time. There are people that are going into nursing homes. There are people who got divorced and now they want to live in a smaller house. There are so many different types of downsizers. So would you talk to someone who just got a divorce and downsizing their house as the same as an empty nester? And does the empty nester have the same fears, dreams, and hopes as someone who was selling their house for the last time and going and moving in with their kids? The answer is no. So you can start to see here that there are lots of levels that you can play in that are going to help you know who you're talking to and how to talk to them. So finding your ideal client, it really basically boils down into 2 different buckets. So we first need to talk about the difference between psychographics and demographics. So demographics are the things that you can plot on an Excel spreadsheet. So age, race, sex, what zip code that they're in, how much money they have, how many kids they have, what school that they went to. So those are things that you could typically consider demographics. Now, these are important, but they're not really the things that are going to help your clients say yes to you. So what's really going to help push the ball forward is going to be psychographics. So psychographics are really the why people are doing things. And I think this is the biggest miss that most agents have, is why are they doing things? So we have the 5 Ds of why people buy and sell houses, death, divorce, whatever they are. They're lost on me at the moment. But those are just kind of scratching the surface of psychographics. So is someone concerned with their appearance? Do they have kids that they want to try to get into an Ivy League school? So what you can see here is you can see that psychographics really focus on the why. So why, here's an example. So why would a gym want to target females that just got engaged? It's probably because that person wants to fit into their wedding dress and look really good the day of the wedding. So that is focusing on a psychographic of why someone would want to buy something. The next thing is, how are they going to communicate? Are they going to communicate by text, by phone, by email, by video? Are they going to want to be in person? So knowing this information about who your clients are is going to be really important in how you have structured your follow-up, your marketing, those kind of things. Like example, like you would not want to send a direct message on Facebook to my grandmother who is 90 years old. You're also going to have a hell of a time trying to get a Gen Z or a young millennial to pick up the phone because they don't pick. But if you send them a text message or a DM, they're going to answer right away. So by the way, if you haven't cleaned out your voicemails in a while, your voicemail box is full. Just saying. Is there enough context? I can't overemphasize this enough. So you need to have context with your ideal client. You have to have something in common with them. So like me, I am married, 2 kids, been in my marriage for 20 years at this point. So I probably don't have much in common with a single female who's in her 20s. There's not much that we share in common. So if I'm marketing to that lady, I am probably going to fall short. However, if I'm marketing towards families in my station, I'm going to have a lot in common with them. Here's an example. So if you have kids and your kids get sick at school, or you have to bring your kid along with you to a showing. If you have a young single dude in his 20s buying his first house, and you have to bring your kid along with you, you're probably not going to get much grace in that situation. So he's not going to be very forgiving. However, if you are working with a client that also has kids the same age, and you have to bring your kid along with you because they're sick and you don't have anyone else to take care of them, you're going to get a lot of grace for that situation. But that's what I mean. It is, you have to have some context. You have to have something in common with these people. So pro tip, you are likely your ideal client. That is kind of like the magic wand to this whole thing. So if you're struggling to figure out who your ideal client is, it's probably someone just like you. So your ideal client is already out there. So you're not having to create these people out of nowhere. They already exist and they're waiting for you to come find them. So in order to figure out who your ideal client is, first, you got to step one, you got to audit yourself. So what is your age? What is your age? What is your gender? What is your familiar status? What kind of family values? What kind of core values? What kind of work style do you have? Identify your preferences. What kind of clients have you worked with that really give you energy versus take energy away? So you got to know yourself before you can really take that next step. So step 2 is you got to audit your current client list. So who were the people that were rewarding to work with? Who are the people that were draining, cost you time, energy, resources, and had almost no return on investment? Ask yourself, would I want more clients like them? It's so important. So if someone was a real asshole during the transaction, or you just didn't jive with them, start thinking about why. Not just that that's who they are, but like thinking about why you didn't get along with them or why it wasn't a good fit. And then once you start doing that, step 3 is identify your ideal client profile. So based upon your audit of yourself and who you want to work with, your past clients, create a list of attributes for your ideal client. So once again, what are their demographics? The stuff that you can plot on the Excel spreadsheet. What are their goals? Are they first-time home buyers, downsizers? Is it a luxury market? What kind of personalities do they have? Are they communicative? Are they decisive? Are they appreciative of your expertise and the things that you're bringing to the table? The clearer you are, the easier it will become to recognize the right client moving forward. And as soon as you come across the wrong client, it's going to be like an instant notification that, no, this is a red flag. I probably need to refer them to the other agent in the office that I don't like and still get a referral fee. That's the beauty of being a real estate agent, is like me as a loan officer. If I refer someone to another loan officer, I don't get paid. I'm not legally allowed. However, you can refer this client, the client that is not your ideal client, to another agent in your office, and you could still get something out of it, but you did no work for it. So what you used to have to do is you used to have to do cold calls, social media, postcards, door knocking, search engine optimization, in-person events, ZillowRealtor.com, just to start sniffing the semblance of getting deals across the finish line. And the average conversion rate for those deals, for those leads, for those efforts was about 0.5% to 1.25%. So if you have 100 leads that you paid for in Zillow, you might get a couple of them across the finish line. But what did you pay for those? So once you have your ideal client, you're going to know where they hang out. You're going to know what problems that they have. You're going to know how you can save money on marketing. You're going to know what marketing will speak to your ideal client. Like Kathy, for example, she does a lot of radio advertising. And that's where her primary business marketing comes from, is radio advertising for her event. She knows that her ideal client is not on TikTok. So why would she spend time putting her efforts into TikTok? And the same thing goes for someone who's on the younger side, a younger agent. So if you have a lot of younger clients, you're not going to probably be posting stuff on LinkedIn. You're not going to be putting stuff on the radio. So by knowing who your ideal client is, you know we're going to find them, where they hang out, and how to deliver messages to them on those platforms that get them to convert. and you need to rely on paid leads from like Realtor.com or Zillow. So you can cut out that massive expense for a super low conversion. Because once again, we're not going to be watering concrete anymore. So there's actually a book by Robert Cialdini. No, so there's actually a book by Dan Kennedy called How to Market to the Affluent. And there was two groups that really stuck out to me as the most affluent groups. So number one is boomers. So boomers have a ton of cash. They have had a lot of financial tailwinds that have gotten to the point to where they're sitting pretty right now. And they're getting older in their life and they've spent the money on the things that they wanted to, and they still have excess cash stuff left over. So if you want to market to people who have money, boomers is a great one. The next one is the LGBTQ community. And I don't mean to offend if I butchered that at all. So Jen and Lauren, they market heavily to that community. And the reason that is the second most affluent group of people is because typically they have more disposable cash. They have the ability to be able to go spend on things that they want because they don't necessarily have the friction in their life as a hetero couple. So that being said, Jen and Lauren are probably within the top 1 to 5% of agents across the country, but they have narrow focus down on who they want to work with. They actually have a name for their ideal client, and it's called Morgan. So Morgan is their ideal client, and they know how to market to them. They know how their branding needs to be. They don't need to know their messaging. So things get so much simpler once you focus on who you want to work with. And once again, they have just crushed it this year. And this is just Jen's numbers. This does not include Lauren's numbers as well. So this is not even after a full 12 months. They are just crushing it. What most agents would dream of, and Jen and Lauren only seek and work with one client, Morgan. So you're probably thinking, I already know who my ideal client is. And well, that might be the case, but do you know them as well as what I'm pushing you to know them? So you might work with first-time homebuyers and you think you work them really well, or you know them really well. But once again, there's so much more under the surface that you're probably missing. So you're probably also thinking, I don't have time to figure this out. In my opinion, I don't think that you have any option but to figure this out. Because in our economy right now, as an agent, leads are harder to convert. They're getting more expensive. Your time is getting squeezed because you're spending time on things that don't convert, that don't work, because you're trying to market to everyone and you're end up watering concrete. So in my opinion, you don't have any option but to figure this out. So I do tell you, once again, we talked about this, that you need to be focusing on making money during the day. And after the world gets quiet, after your kids go to bed, or before the world wakes up in the early mornings, you need to be working on this. You need to prioritize getting it figured out who your ideal client is. You're probably also thinking, once again, we've said this before, is I don't want to limit myself. And this is coming from a place of scarcity. And I can promise you that this is going to be the thing that's going to hold you back more than anything else. That I don't want to limit who I work with because I'm going to lose money. Well, I can tell you right now that you're falling prey to the Pareto principle, and 80% of your clients are draining the life out of your business. And you're probably also thinking, this won't work for me. My market is different. It doesn't matter what your market is. We are working with humans, and we're working with traditional things that are in human psychology. I could care less what city, what market, what town, what suburb that you are in. If you are working with humans, this works, because this is a principle that holds true with humans no matter where they are in the world. All right, so that is secret number 2. And secret number 3 is how to find out what they want and actually give it to them. So once again, I'm going to give credit to Alex Hormozi on this one, because this is what really helps speed up my process of how to serve you as an agent and how you as an agent can serve your home buyers and sellers. So the problem is as an industry, real estate agents are treated like a paycheck with legs. Think about it. The brokers that are recruiting you, the mortgage shops that are recruiting me, they're working really hard to bring you on board, promising you the sun, moon, and the stars. And as soon as they get you to where they want you to be, they stop talking to you. And then they move on to bringing on more people. So your brokerage, mortgage companies, the industry, it's broken because they are treating you, me, like a paycheck with legs. They actually don't care about solving any of our life problems. They are trying to solve their own money problems. And I got to tell you, I want you to hang with me here, that you're doing the same thing for the people you're trying to attract, and they can feel it. So you are so busy trying to solve your own money problems that you are not trying to solve their life problems. And the agent who knows their ideal client and the problems that they have and can solve those problems better than anyone else, you're going to have more clients than you know what to do with. So once again, in the book, $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi, he really talks about how to solve people's problems. The one thing he really doesn't do a good job with, and once again, you can only pack so much into a book, and these are my business Bibles. So the one thing that he really fell short on, and I'm sure this made it to the editing room floor, is like, how do you go about trying to find what people want? Like, because I can guess what agents want, but if I don't ask you, I don't know. So once again, going back to Sunny's program, I had to log over 50 hours of interviews with agents to figure out what you guys need. And after logging that, and it was painful, and I did it, and I don't want to do it again, but it gave me a much better understanding and application of what agents actually struggled with. And if I can figure out how to solve those problems for agents, then I'm going to become incredibly valuable. And therefore, I'm going to reduce the amount of competition I have with other loan officers. All right. So step one in figuring all this out is you need to go and find 3 past clients who match your ideal criteria. So go through your database, go through your family, go through your friends, go through your coworkers, and find at least 3 people who meet your ideal client criteria. And then what you're going to do is you're going to interview them on Zoom. Now, you can also do this with a phone call, but once again, it makes it easier to connect with that person if you were doing it on Zoom, because they can see you, that you can see them. You could also do this in person, but the technical side of it, we're going to go over in here in a second, gets a little bit challenging. So you're going to ask them to join you on Zoom, and how you're going to invite them is you're going to say, hey, I am doing some research right now. I'm trying to improve my business. I'm trying to serve my clients better. Would you be open-minded to helping me out, letting me ask you a couple questions? It's going to be a private session. It's not going to be posted on social media anywhere. 9 times out of 10, they're going to say yes, because they want to help you. And once again, if they know you, they like you, they trust you, they're going to say yes to you, but you got to go find 3 of them. All right. So the third step is you got to go and ask them the questions. So once you have them on the Zoom call, you are going to then ask them these series of questions. So you saw here, Fathom. That is a tool that bolts onto Zoom. Now, Zoom also has a feature like this now, but basically what it does is it's a recorder that sits in the room with you and is taking notes for you while you're talking to the other person. So once again, you're going to be asking them the series of questions, and the questions are going to be trying to pull answers out of them. And once you get those answers, step 4 is you're going to take the transcript from Fathom or Zoom, and you're going to upload it into ChatGPT. So you're going to take all the written words from the transcript, copy and paste into ChatGPT, and then it's going to help you synthesize that information. It's going to help you create an offer that solves problems for your ideal client, which is why you need to have more than just one interview. You need to be doing this multiple times. Once again, I did 50. It was a little bit extreme, but once again, it paid dividends. So I'm telling you just to do at least 3. Find 3 of your ideal clients, get them on a Zoom call, ask them these questions, give the transcript to ChatGPT, and it's going to help you create better offers. And then the next thing, once you have your offers created that are going to solve your ideal client, you can actually start pushing out marketing that speaks only to your ideal client. And I got to tell you, you got to be a little bit brave with this, because there was an agent that I coach. Her name is Emily. And Emily is in my market, and she did this exercise. And oddly enough, one of the ladies that she asked to be on an interview, she said, are you sure you want to ask me these questions? Because I did not have a good experience. And I said to Emily, yes, this is probably one of the more important interviews that you need to do, because you need to find out what didn't work. And then that is going to be more valuable feedback from the clients that loved you and are going to just tell you whatever you want to hear. So she was able to get on the Zoom call with this lady. The lady was kind, but she was very transparent about what she didn't enjoy about the experience. And now Emily has that feedback that she can go create a better business for herself. She can also create better offers that are going to serve her ideal clients better. And I got to tell you that she's not the only one who's gone through this with me, because there's also Corey. It was truly mind-blowing. It was a truly mind-blowing experience to realize I've been doing it wrong in the past. The tool has really helped open my eyes and has allowed me to have a clear understanding of who I should be targeting and how important that is now. And as Summer said, learning about my ideal client has completely transformed my approach in business. And then Jack, this is one of the best things that I've ever had in regards to managing my business and making marketing offers. So what if you've had to do in the past to get business is you've had to do cold calls, social media, postcards, door knockings, search engine optimization, in-person events, Zillow.com, Realtor.com, Facebook ads. So that's tons of wasted time, tons of wasted effort, because once again, these things that you're seeing right here, they're water and concrete. You don't know who you're working with, and you don't know how to get them to convert if you're just mass marketing to everyone. So the 3 secrets that we've talked about today is, number 1, you got to fire most of your clients, because most of your clients are causing you to lose money, not make money. Secret number 2 is you got to narrow the field. You got to pick out your ideal client and be specific of who you want to work with. And then number 3, make them fall in love with you by finding out what they want and then giving it to them. I mean, it's quite simple. Find out what they want and give it to them. So if you stop marketing to everyone, would you get more attention and close more sales? I hope the answer is yes at this point. So I'm hoping that you also see that if you took the time to actually research your ideal client and figure out that they are a lot like you, you're going to be able to move your business forward. So also, if you asked your ideal client what they wanted, do you now have the ability to give it to them? And I'm hoping with each one of these things and through this training, and I know we've been at this for around an hour so far, that you've learned the importance of having one client and then serving them at such a deep level. So at this point, I got to ask you a question. So how many of you watching this right now kind of feel like this? Like, I've been on this training for about an hour now, and I'm feeling really overwhelmed because you just hit me with so much information. I have so much to think about. And if you're feeling this way, I've got something for you. And it's something that I've been working on for a couple weeks now. And the agents inside of Agent Launch here in Columbus, they are already using this tool, and they have also been able to step away from working with everyone and figure out who their ideal client is. So what I've got for you, what I've made for you, is called the Ideal Client Tool. And it's something that I have spent a lot of hours building, and I've gotten a lot of good feedback on. So now, instead of just keeping this captive in Columbus, I'm going to give it to you as well. So inside of Agent Launch, we have this thing called the challenge. So the challenge is basically a 4-week workshop to where they come into my office in Columbus 4 weeks in a row from 11 to 3, and we talk about the launch method. So the launch method is the framework that we use inside of Agent Launch to be able to help agents generate leads for themselves. So from core offers, MIFGs, the core 4, which once again I learned from Alex, dramatic demonstrations. So we spend 4 weeks teaching this stuff. And after doing this, and we just got through our 11th group doing this, so we've done it 11 times. And 2 times ago, 2 different challenges ago, I got the idea that I needed to do something a little bit different and help my agents in a more meaningful way. So that being said, earlier this summer, my wife and I, we were sitting in our living room, and one of our favorite things to do for date nights is just getting nachos, watching movies, sitting the kids upstairs with their iPads for a little bit so we can just get some quiet time. So we scheduled this session to where she was going to help me build the Ideal Client Tool. So over the course of a couple of hours, we honed it in on, okay, so here's the first thing that we got to do to help agents. Okay. Now I then had the problem of, okay, so I have this information that I'm going to ask these agents. Now, what's the next thing that I got to do? Okay, so what if I gave that information to ChatGPT and had it kind of synthesize that information for me? So after that date night concluded, we had our framework, and then I got to work starting to test this stuff. And about 2 weeks after that, I finally had the tool kind of where I wanted it to be. So that being said, what would it be worth to you to have your own marketing assistant? What would it be worth to you to have someone who knows your ideal client really well, just as much or more than you, that you can actually talk to? So this is actually a new feature inside of ChatGPT where you can actually talk to your ChatGPT and ask it questions and talk to it and create marketing plans for working with your ideal client. So after getting it through and having some people in the challenge actually go through and work with the Ideal Client tool, here's some of the things that they had to say. So Eric said, Ryan and his Ideal Client tool was an absolute game changer. It takes you from guessing on who your ideal client is, know exactly who they are and how to target them. But most importantly, let you know how to speak to them in a way that they understand. Valerie said, this is a tool that's incredibly helpful in narrowing down your ideal client and how to market to them specifically. And it's an incredible resource. And then Brian said, after week 3 of Agent Launch in the Ideal Client seminar, the information has been enlightening, engaging, informative, and I've learned how to organize my communication in ways it makes sense to market to my ideal client. And once again, these are just 3, but there have been over 100 agents who have actually come through Agent Launch, the challenge, and now are working with and trying to market to their ideal client. So who this is for, who the ideal client is for. It is for new agents, agents on teams, team leads, solo agents, part-time agents, and even not techie agents. So even if you are not techie and you don't necessarily enjoy technology, this is for you, because I've tried to make this as simple as possible for everybody. So if you don't have your ideal client yet, don't worry, because all you need to do is just answer some questions and the Ideal Client tool will take care of the rest for you. So what you're going to get is you're going to get an AI tool that's going to help you figure out who your ideal client is. And once again, if you're not very techie, don't worry. I'm going to be with you the whole way through. I've actually got a video of me walking you through each step of the way. So there's a video of me walking you through each process. So there is zero chance that you can make a mistake on figuring this out. So once you get to the other side of it, you're going to be able to identify your perfect client, have an AI assistant that you can talk to, streamline your marketing efforts, finally feel confident in what you're doing in your business, and stop watering concrete. What you're going to be able to get rid of by having the Ideal Client tool is wasted marketing spend, annoying your family and friends with constant pitches or follow-ups, unproductive cold calls, expensive and unnecessary software. I got to tell you that real estate agents are the most sold to profession or pitched to profession on earth, because the people that are outside know that you guys have a hard time marketing yourself. And also they know that you guys have expendable cash, or they think that you have expendable cash. So you're going to be able to get rid of a lot and have more focus and be able to trim out what you actually need to grow your business. So what I'm going over right now with you is what I consider the mullet offer. Once again, I love AI, and it took me like 20 minutes to create this picture, but I love it. So the mullet offer is going to be short up front and long in the back. So what you're going to get when you pick up the Ideal Client tool is you're going to get something that's worth $8,000. Once again, I paid Sunny $8,000 to learn how to do this, and that's not even including my time building it out, my wife's time helping me out. So the total value for the Ideal Client tool is going to be $8,000. Okay, so I'm not going to stop there. So once again, the mullet offer is going to be short up front and long in the back, but that's not all you're going to get. So bonus number 1 that you're going to get is going to be access to be able to join the Inner Circle. So Inner Circle is a Zoom call that we have every other week on Thursday, and it is going to help agents continue to move towards being able to generate better leads from themselves using ideal clients, core offers, MIF keys, everything that we teach inside of Agent Launch. And really where this came out of is, once again, that first event that I did, as it was approaching, I was like, I really don't want this to end. I don't want the agents that come to the event and just relationship stop. So I had the idea of putting together a Zoom call to where every other week we can gather and we could talk about different things about Agent Launch and the launch method and ideal clients in this specific instance. So inside of the Zoom calls, we bring on guests that talk about different things inside of the launch method and how to lead generate. So we've had guests like Will Draper, Jeff Simfer, Katie Day. And if you don't know who Katie Day is, Dustin Brome from Massive Agent, Tara Santos, Chelsea Pites, Todd Collins, Dan DeMont, Connor Murnane. These are all highly recognizable names inside of real estate, and they have all been on past episodes of our Zoom calls that we do for Inner Circle. So I'm constantly working to try to bring in guests who can teach you how to lead generate better for yourself. And Andrea said she's so grateful for Ryan's desire to pour into local agents the way that he does. Dak said the agent launch is so much for most agents, and he really has enjoyed being part of Agent Launch. So he's part of our inner circle. Kara said the content is absolutely valuable. So inside of the Zoom calls, we've had agents join coaches, change brokerages, all because just of an introduction that we're giving them to connect with top tier agents, top tier marketing professionals, and you're going to be able to continue learning about your ideal client in different pieces of the launch method. So once again, you're going to be able to network with top agents that you wouldn't normally have access to, implement the frameworks that we are constantly talking about, join a community. And that's the one thing that humans all need is we need a community to belong to. And we're going to be giving you real world case studies. And you can also watch all the past calls with the speakers that we just brought up. So what you're going to be able to get rid of is you're going to be able to get rid of traveling to conferences to get access to these top agents and these top marketing professionals, because I'm going to be bringing them to you. You're going to be able to get rid of feeling isolated and not necessarily knowing what to do next. So I can't say that I care about you and just give up on you after this training ends, because what's going to happen is inevitably, as you're going through the process of trying to figure out your ideal client and make offers and do the research that I'm asking you to do, is you're going to fall into the learning pit. And the learning pit sucks because all of us start out really optimistic. Once we start digging into it, it gets really difficult. And what most agents do is they stop at the bottom of the pit and they turn around and go start something else. But with the inner circle Zoom calls, you're going to be able to have access to me, to the other agents in the community to help you get out the other side. And the agents who can make it to the other side of the learning pit are the ones that actually move the needle in their business. So you have two choices. You have the choice to go alone or together. You can go really quickly alone, but you can go really far if we go together. So I'm not going to give up on you by stopping here. I want you to join us in the inner circle so you can continue to grow your business and get unstuck and move to that next tier. So what it costs me is it costs me time and travel to go to these events where these titans hang out, where I can get to network with them and then bring them to you. It took me time away from my family, over $20,000 in tickets, flights, hotels. And that's not including the stuff that I've paid for, coaching programs that I've paid for that I'm just going to give you the knowledge from. And once again, you get to skip all of that. So you're probably thinking, I don't have my ideal client figured out. Well, don't worry. So you're still going to have access to me and the other agents who have already figured this out, who are just a couple of chapters ahead of you. So will I get the personal attention that I need? Yes. If you show up and you ask for help, if you raise your hand, you will get the help you need. So what happens if I can't make it to the Zoom calls? Well, don't worry. We record everything that we do inside of Agent Launch. So from the Zoom calls to the meetings to the events that we're doing, everything gets recorded. So if you can't make it to the Zoom calls, you get to watch the replay, worst case. Okay, so let's recap. Here's what you're going to get. So number one is you're going to get the ideal client tool valued at about $8,000 because that's what I paid Sunny in order to learn what I learned that I'm just going to give to you. Okay, so bonus number one, this is where the long comes in, is you're going to get access to the inner circle Zoom calls and replays. That's going to be worth about $4,500. So total value for just these two things is about $12,550. All right, so the second bonus that you're going to get is you're going to get access to the replay of Jeffrey Shaw. Now, once again, Jeffrey Shaw is a well-renowned author, stage speaker, has been on TEDx a couple times, best-selling author on Amazon, Oprah, CBS News, Addicted to Success, and I can't fit as much as what he has done on the screen. So the next thing you're going to need is you're going to need access to the call with Jeffrey Shaw, the replay. So I brought him on in order to help solve one fundamental problem for agents: how to speak the secret language of their ideal clients. Now, once again, Jeffrey wrote the book on this. His book, Lingo, is what helped started me get on this path of figuring out who my ideal client was. And what it cost me to get this Zoom call or this live stream off was it cost me a lot of sleep. It cost me about $1,500 in promotion. I sent over 500,000 emails, 2,000 text messages, probably 200 DMs, lots of phone calls, lots of social media posts, and lots of lost sleep. So while I was in the promotion cycle for this event, my family and I went on vacation to a lake in Tennessee. And while they were sleeping one night, I was having a full-blown panic attack in a recliner in the other room. And I was not getting the traction that I needed to get this event off. So my mental state really took a hit while trying to promote this event with Jeffrey. So that being said, it cost me a lot to put this event together. It's probably the most expensive event that I've ever done. So you're going to be able to hear directly from the person who literally wrote the book on ideal clients and speed up understanding of what you need to be doing to work with and nurture one client. So Jeffrey usually charges about $10,000 to go speak on stage. So what you're going to get access to, once again, is you're going to get access to the ideal client tool, value about $8,000. The first bonus you're going to get is you're going to get access to the Inner Circle Zoom, where you can continue to get help and resources that you need in order to figure out who your ideal client is and make them better offers. The next thing you're going to get access to is the Jeffrey Shaw replays, which once again cost me about $1,500 to put together to get him to agree to come and spend an hour with us digitally. That total value in just those three things right there is over $14,000. Not going to stop there, because the next thing that you're going to need is bonus number 3. And bonus number 3 is the interview training. So we talked about in Secret 3 that you need to get your ideal clients on a Zoom, record the phone calls, and actually ask them questions. So once again, Sunny showed me how to do this. I paid her $8,000, and then I'm going to give this training to you, so that way you cannot make a mistake at all. So you're probably thinking, how do I find people to ask these questions to? Don't worry, I'm going to show you exactly where to go find the people you need to interview and how to make the ask to get them to agree. Yeah, if you don't know what questions to ask, don't worry, I'm going to give you the exact questions you're going to need to ask. So all you need to do is read the questions and listen to their answers. So once you have that information, what are you going to do with it? Well, don't worry, you need zero technical skill, because if you can copy and paste, then you're all set. That's the only technical skill that you need. And it cost me $8,000 to learn what I'm going to give you in that training. So without doing these interviews, you're just going to be guessing at what your ideal clients want. And don't worry, I'm going to give you the exact questions to ask. And don't worry, if you don't have any technical skill, you can't screw this up. So just going to recap real quick. So your ideal client tool is going to be the first thing you get it, valued at $8,000. Bonus number 1 is going to be the Inner Circle Zoom access and the replays. Number 2 is the replay with Jeffrey Shaw, valued at $1,500. Number 3 is your interview training that is going to show you exactly how to get the information you need from your ideal client, so that way you can't screw up that information or make yourself look silly. So total value for just that is over $14,000, approaching $15,000. So what's the last thing that you're going to need? Last thing you're going to need to figure out who your ideal client is and actually make offers to them and market to them. So it's bonus number 4. So bonus number 4 is the thing I'm most excited about. And it's done for you ChatGPT prompts. So once again, going back to the date night that I had with my wife, where we had nachos, kicked the kids upstairs, and she and I just sat and hammered out the ideal client tool. Well, after that, I was like, okay, so what else can we do with this thing? So I have really enjoyed working with ChatGPT. Now you can work with any AI that you want to, and it'll do pretty much the same thing. But what I did after I had the tool is I said, okay, so what if it could help create Facebook videos or Facebook posts and campaigns? Or what about short form video scripts? What about blog posts? What about creating an event or planning an event or doing live streams like this? So like, what else could we do with it? So what I did was I took probably another week to really start playing with and honing in on prompts. Now, a prompt is basically a cut and paste directive that you would give AI, and then based upon that directive, it'll give you certain output. So if you say, write me a recipe for cookies, chocolate chip cookies, it's not going to give you a very good recipe. But if you say, write me a recipe for chocolate chip cookies that Guy Fieri or Imror would create, now I'm aging myself, I know, then it's going to give you more specific directions on how to bake better cookies. That's what I've done for you, is I've taken the mundane that you're used to and I have turned it up to a 10. So now the responses, the images, the videos, the video scripts, the blog posts are going to be so much better. I use AI to shortcut all of my content creation, and it helps me make more content in less time and more potent content to my ideal client. So with these prompts, it's going to be so much easier to know what to say on video. How much easier is it going to be to create effective marketing campaigns? It's going to be a ton better, because it's going to know exactly what platform, who your ideal client is, your strengths and weaknesses, and create a campaign based upon that. How easy is it going to be to get the AI to give you exactly what you want. So if you haven't had a good experience with AI so far, it's because you haven't done enough work to know what to ask it to get the results that you want. And then lastly, how easy is it going to be just to copy and paste? If you can copy and paste, I promise you can make this work. So here's some of the stuff that you're going to get when you're on the inside. You're going to be able to get your ideal client's journey mapped out, like where they're starting from and where they're ending to and all the steps in between. You're going to be able to create better offers, better lead magnets. You're also going to be able to create better social media posts, videos, reels, Facebook. So you have people in your market right now or coaches online telling you that you need to do video. And if you don't, you're going to get left behind, but they don't actually show you what to do. So with this ideal client prompt, in this tool, it's going to basically copy and paste and then create scripts within seconds that actually speak to your ideal client. So all you have to do is just upload to a teleprompter and then you're ready to go. So how much time is it going to save you when creating videos? You're not going to have to think, you're just going to have to type, copy and paste, and then start recording. Also with blog posts. If you are not doing blog posts, this is really going to help elevate your SEO game on your website and have more people on Google find you. Once again, I'm not a writer, you're not a writer, but ChatGPT can act as one for you. So it can help you create blog posts and images within minutes, so you're not spinning your wheels, getting frustrated and saying, screw this, I'm not doing it, I have a writer's block. So you're going to be able to save hours on marketing tasks, break writer's block, generate video scripts instantly that are made for your ideal client, plan an entire month's worth of content. You're also going to be able to get rid of hours of wasted time sitting there ruminating, trying to figure out what to do next. Expensive marketing consultants. You're going to be able to get rid of generic media content that your brokerage is pushing out. Make it content made for your ideal client that is branded for you. Don't use the stuff that your brokerage is sending out that 30 other agents are posting on social media. And you're going to be able to stop procrastinating and getting your marketing done. So don't worry. If you don't have any technical skill, all you have to do is just be able to copy and paste, and that's it. If you're worried about getting lost, there's actually a video of me walking you through how to do this. I made a video so that way you don't get lost. So what you're going to get, once again, is the ideal client tool. You're going to get access to the bonuses for the Inner Circle, the Jeffrey Shaw live stream, the interview training, and lastly, the ChatGPT prompts. All of this, everything that I'm pouring into you so you can finally win, has a total value of $18,550. So before we go too much further, what is the average commission for real estate agents across the country? So based upon my research, the average sales price, the average commission rate, the average commission is about $6,800. $6,800. Now, I don't know about you, but once again, the entire industry has done you a disservice. They have pushed you into the edge, the deep end of the pool, and they're just expecting you to swim. And if you don't, good luck next time. Go back to Home Depot where you had your job before. Okay? And that sucks. And that's not fair. And once again, we're going to start working you back from that, because I'm taking all the information that I have learned and I'm pre-chewing it for you and giving you only what you need. And once again, the average conversion rate for any of the normal marketing methods, the cold calls, the door knocking, the Facebook ads, whatever it is between 0.5% to 1.2%. So all this did was help you get just a 1% better conversion rate on your leads. Would it be worth it? Would it be worth your time? If all this did was help reduce your waste in your marketing budget, would that $18,000 be worth it? If all this did would kept you from working with the wrong clients, would what I'm offering to you be worth it? Would it be worth it to stop guessing with your marketing? Would it be worth it to stop working with bad clients you don't like, wasting money on paying for leads that don't ever convert? Stop worrying about your next commission check. Stop chasing leads and have leads come to you. Okay. So once again, what you're going to get is you're going to get the ideal client tool. You're going to get the bonuses of the Jeffrey Shaw Live. You're going to get the interview training. You're going to get the Inner Circle. You're going to get the ChatGPT prompts, total value of over $18,000. So $18,000 is what it's worth on the low end. But what I'm actually going to charge you for it is $200. So if it's worth $18,000 and it's a no-brainer at $18,000, and I'm only going to charge you $200, I'd say that's a pretty good exchange. So once again, what you're going to get is you're going to get the interview training, you're going to get the ChatGPT scrumps, the Jeffrey Shaw replay, the inner circle, and you're also going to get the ideal client tool. What I will actually charge you is $200. Now, you're probably saying, or some of you are probably saying that this is still too expensive. I can't afford it. Well, I really had two choices here. So the first choice is I had to make it as cheap as possible and try to sell as many as possible, but it wouldn't have incentivized me to really stack on the value. Okay. With all the things that I'm doing, from the Jeffrey Shaw to the ChatGPT prompts, I could just sell you the tool for $7 and just go away. But that doesn't necessarily help you. So my other option was, it requires you a little bit more of an investment, but in exchange, I can really devote more resources to guarantee that once you start walking down the ideal client path, you have no choice but to succeed. So I want you to ask yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen? So you pay the couple $100, the $200, and if it works for you, wonderful. But if it doesn't work for you, I've got you covered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a guarantee that if you don't love it, after using it for 30 days, I will give you a 100% refund, no questions asked. But I need you to give it a 30-day time to figure out if it's going to work for you or not. And if it doesn't, you get to keep all the information and all the resources that I'm giving you for free. So the real question is it worth it for you to gamble a couple of minutes of your time to check this out? And if it did half of what I'm promising you, it would more than pay for itself. Because once again, the average commission for a real estate agent is $6,800. So I think $200 is a fair exchange. So once again, what you're going to get is the ideal client tool, the bonuses of the live stream with Jeffrey Shaw, the interview training, the inner circle, the ChatGPT prompts, total value of over $18,000. And I'm only going to charge $200 for it. But I got to tell you that the price is not going to stay this price forever. So if you delay, if you wait, you're going to end up paying more later. Because I'm undercharging for the tool right now because I just needed to get into more agents' hands. But after I sell 10 of these things, the price is going to go up $25 for every 10 agents that buy. So over time, this thing is going to get more and more expensive. So if you can't afford the $200 right now, that's okay, because there are some payment options that you have on the checkout screen. Okay, so that being said, if you don't have the $200 to put together right now, you can put it on a payment plan and be able to pay over time. So get the access to the tool right now. Start working towards your ideal client to start making money, so that way you could pay off really easily. So once again, just to recap, you're going to get the interview training, you're going to get the ChatGPT prompts, you're going to get the replay with Jeffrey Shaw, access to me every other week in the community that we're growing inside of Agent Launch. The primary reason that you're here is to get the ideal client tool and a 30-day money-back guarantee. All you have to do to get it is go below this video and click the Unlock the Ideal Client tool. So let's take a pause for a second. So if you're saying no to this, what are you saying yes to? You're saying yes to more trial and error, more missed commissions, which once again, that's about $60 to $100 that you're potentially saying no to, or saying yes to missed commissions. You're saying yes to more burnout and overwhelm, roller coaster income, getting left behind, blind marketing efforts because you don't necessarily know what you're doing. But what's really holding you back? The only thing that's really holding you back is going below this video and clicking on the Unlock the Client tool. So is there a possibility that there's someone else out there who has solved this problem? We've already shown that to be true with Lauren and Jen, with Kathy, with the other agents who have been through Agent Launch. They're just a couple of chapters ahead of you, but they've already figured this out. Okay. So the better question is, has there been another agent who is like you, who has solved this problem? I don't know you yet, but I hope to. I hope to meet you on the Zoom calls. But has there been an agent like you that has figured this out already? I'll tell you that there has. And I can't say that I care about you and bring you this far just to give up on you. That's what most coaches, that's what most brokerages do. That's what most people do, is they say that they love you and they care about you, but then they give up on you as soon as you put up a little bit of friction. I'm not going to give up on you. That's not what we're here to do. Is I don't want you to give up on your clients. I'm not giving up on you. So I need you to think about a time when you were a kid that you succeeded. So what was the time to where you stuck your neck out and you won? You got the trophy, you kissed the girl, whatever it is. Think about a time when you succeeded as a teen. What about when you were 20? Now, when you were 30? Now, The reason I bring these things up is because remember that feeling that you had when you did something that you didn't think you were going to be able to do. That feeling, that the goosebumps feeling, that knot in your stomach kind of feeling where you were so proud of yourself and you can't believe you pulled that off. You've done it before, so why is this any different? I need you to bet on yourself again that you can actually pull this off and change your business and the lives of the people that you're here to serve. So I want to bet on someone who's not going to quit on themselves. So I want to put this in perspective. How far away is the sun? The sun is 93 million miles away, and it gives you everything that you need. Now, how far away is the goal that you have in mind? Is it getting 5 more units, 1 more unit, 10 more units? That seems a lot more achievable than the sun sending you all the energy and all the sustenance that you need. So your goal is not that far away. And once again, we're going to be doing this alone or together. And I hope that you're going to join us so we can do it together. And if this is you, I want you to be able to charge more than other agents. I want you to have clients that come back to you over and over. I want you to work less and get paid more. And I want you to get more attention. Not in a vain or superficial way. I mean, your business needs attention. People need to know about you in order to be able to do business with you. And that requires getting more attention. And we're going to help correct that. So imagine your business that only worked with your ideal clients. Imagine having a clear path to be able to attract ideal clients. So we're almost at the end here. Let's just recap one more time. You're going to get the interview training. You're going to get the ChatGPT prompts. You're going to get the replay with Jeffrey Shaw. You're going to get the access to the Inner Circle Zoom. Okay, so once again, I'm not going to give up on you. I want you to come and ask and grow and fail and then learn. So we're going to do that together. And then most importantly, you're going to get access to the Ideal Client tool so you can know your business and your ideal client much better. And I'm going to back it up with a 30-day guarantee. And the only thing you have to do is go below this video and click the Unlock Your Ideal Client tool. So once again, I'm so grateful that you've spent the time with us. I'm so grateful that you invested the last over an hour trying to figure out how to save yourself, save your business, and go serve the people that you were called to serve. Once again, you are here for a reason. And I need you to understand how important you are. And I'm going to help you get there. That being said, I look forward to seeing you on the Zoom call. And if nothing else, have a great day and God bless.